Okay, welcome to the Google Bootcamp. So this is a re-recording of the live event that was held earlier, and this is to condense the information in the recorded version so that it's easy for you to look back on and get the answers that we discussed during the event. So let's dive right in. A quick recap about me. I'm Kelsey. I own KaeRae Marketing. I have been in business since 2017. I've been Google Ads certified since 2015. And so I have a lot of experience with different types of businesses and all of the Google tools that are free to any business to use so that you can actually start generating new traffic and new customers from these free sources. So how to do those is my expertise, and I want to explain to you as simply as possible. I offer management services if you ever just want to hand it off and not worry about it, but also understand what is happening. I'm your gal. Or if you want to actually understand it for yourself and maybe take care of doing the implementation steps or managing of these accounts, I can teach you exactly what I'm doing for my clients so that you can have the control, the knowledge, and the power of your Google presence. A quick overview of the agenda for our discussion. We are going to be discussing Google Business first, and this is going to be important for any type of business, small, large, making sure that if you're local, this is a profile you fully optimize, and how to gather the reviews and respond, and what a good website needs, and how to set up the Google Analytics tracking so that you can understand what your customers or users like on your website and what can be improved. And then we'll go into keywords and SEO, trying to keep this very basic so that you can fully understand what SEO actually is. And then we'll discuss if advertising on Google is right for your business. And if there are any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me directly. A few different emotional states that a lot of people that have come into my sphere to help them are that they get really overwhelmed with any of the Google tools. They've gone to YouTube, they've tried to figure out what to do, but then they end up having more questions. This is a big problem, and I'm trying to solve that by being sweet and direct to all of the steps that you need to take to get these set up. The other is that they've wasted money. This is very common that they've tried it themselves. They didn't get the results they wanted. They trusted an agency and didn't get exactly what they thought they were going to get or guaranteed. And if they are really focused on their competitors too much, they really get sidetracked and distracted by what their competitors are doing. Instead, we want to focus on your business. How can you authentically develop a marketing strategy that works for you and your audience? And last, if you have worked with an ad agency, I hope that it went well. I hope that you got the attention to detail that many agencies really have a hard time offering because they are having too many clients managed by one person. So if any of these issues are common to you, I'm here to listen. If you need any support, direction, or ideas on how to proceed with your business to avoid any of these situations, I'm here to help. So the first thing is Google Business Profile. If you are just getting started, this is something that you must set up right away. Getting a strong foundation within Google starts with this profile. It gives Google all the information about what your business is and how they should show you on Google search. And if you've already been in business, make sure you have verified and are the owner of this listing. If you're not, that can be a whole other process to gain it from a marketing agency, a past employee, whoever originally set it up. So making sure you're the primary owner is key, and I'll show you how to do any of those, making sure that you're the primary owner access to these profiles in a minute. So the first thing you will see on the right is what the listing actually looks like. So you can see the reviews, a photo, phone number, hours, the appointment, domain. So if there is a place that someone can book online, list of the products available, as well as your description down in the bottom. All of this information is very important to Google to understand what your business does to show you for specific searches. Now, let me show you really quickly what this actually looks like on Google search. So you'll see at the top, you have your ads shown up in these two different sections. But as we scroll down, you'll find that this list with the map is where your Google business will show up. So making sure that your reviews are as high as you can. And I do suggest doing a quick search for your competitors to see how many reviews they have. That will give you an idea of what your goal should be. Now, if they have like 900, like this example, you might want to set some smaller goals, maybe 20 to 50 as your starting out point. We'll talk about reviews later, but this is where you can show up. And if you click on more businesses, you'll actually find a full list of all of the available plumbers in this area, as well as them shown on the map. So this is a huge place for local businesses and really any business to make sure that you're shown up on Google search when someone does a search for you. This is so important to any business to start on a good footing with Google. And you want to make sure that the information is consistent. So if you have changed your business name in the past, make sure that they already don't have a listing for that different business on Google. You want to update it and make sure that you verify as the owner. Now, a few things, and I will show you exactly how to update these in a second. These are the important factors of your listing. One, your business description. You should always include keywords and the reason why you're different from your competitors. You have 750 characters, so you want to make sure that you make the most of them by including important keywords that you want your listing to rank for, as well as telling Google exactly what you do, where you are, and how to stand out from your competitors. This is going to be a rich area for Google to understand you from the very beginning. Next is your services list. This is going to allow you to individually list out everything that you offer. And these can also be associated with your keyword list. And we'll talk about keywords later on. But to make sure that you have an extensive outline of all the different services, aka keywords, that Google could rank your profile for, this is going to be the richest place to fill that in. And then posts or updates. Google now allows you to schedule these, but they are social media-like posts that show an image, a description, and a link to your website or somewhere else. Making sure you include a keyword in these posts is really going to be another level of expansive and expert level strategy for your profile. Trying to sprinkle in keywords anywhere within this profile is going to be key. So you can post these once a week or schedule them with different updates, how-tos, questions, anything that your audience is looking for as better understanding or at least trust building in your business. Next is messaging. If you turn it on, you need to be able to respond to those messages quickly. Google gauges and also puts on your listing what your average response time is. Making sure that you respond in less than an hour is going to help your profile actually rank higher. Now, if you don't respond within an hour, and it may take 24 hours to get back to that message, then actually Google may take that into account for your ranking for those specific keyword searches. So if you can't respond quickly, then don't turn it on. And until you have a system where you are going to have someone look at this profile on a regular basis, then you may be able to have that option. I'll show you how to turn on notifications in a moment. The last thing is your special hours. I've had very bad experiences by going to a restaurant and their hours say they're open on Google, but when I get there, they're actually closed. That really damages the business brand. So I actually went out of my way to travel to the location, find out that the information is not correct online, and now I may never become a customer because of this experience. Google allows users and themselves as Google to make edits to your profile. So keeping an eye on the information that you have put in and every month or every quarter after that to make sure that Google hasn't changed or any users haven't suggested changes like you're closed or permanently closed. These things can be put into effect if you do not stop them. So making sure that you actually pay attention to this listing is going to save you in the long run from building a bad reputation with Google or your customers by being incorrect online. Now I want to show you the back end of Google Business, which actually shows right on Google search. You need to have access to this listing. So before I show you how to update anything, we want to go to the three dots, Business Profile Settings, people and access, and see who is the primary owner. In this case, we want to make sure that the owner of the business is the primary owner. Everyone else is considered a manager. If you want to invite anyone, only the primary owner can do that, and you will have an add plus button over here, and you use their email to invite them. Now we want to edit the profile. This is going to be the place that we fill in all the details about our business. So number one is we want our business name to be exactly the same everywhere online, and it starts here in Google Business. Making sure that if you use LLC at the end of your business name, then you want to include that here. However you have it on your website is how you need to have it on this listing, because if Google finds any changes or slight discrepancies, they will lose trust in the credibility of your business. Next is your business category. You can have up to 10 total categories, one of them being a primary category. This is your number one keyword for Google and this listing. Make sure that you click and choose a broad enough but more umbrella style keyword or category for your business. And then you can add subcategories for all of the individual services that you have. Now you do need to choose from a list of specific and pre-approved categories that Google offers. So what you can do is start typing in and see what's available. You may only have 1 to 2 subcategories that you can even add, or you just have one primary. So be sure to go through the entire list and find what applies to your business and add those as you go. And make sure to click save each time you make changes. Next, the description. You want to make sure you're using keywords throughout here and encouraging what's different about your business. So this can be a great place to start testing out what you use to describe your business. You can then continue to fill in the details of your open date, your phone number, if you have a chat ability, your website, any social profiles that you may have, you can link those here. And now your business location. So if you have a virtual business or you do not want your address shown to your customers, you will require one in the setup and verification steps of this profile. Once you're through the verification process and you are visible on Google, you come back to this area, business location, and click on the pencil and simply turn off this toggle. It will then be gray and you will not see any available boxes. Now, when you turn it back on, you will need to possibly re-verify the same address that you used when you created the listing. So be sure to write down where you have originally verified the listing for, and if you are going to not show your address, you may need documents to prove to Google that you are at this location, meaning you need an official document, could be a business entity document or a utility bill, phone bill that says your business name and this exact address on the document. You're able to submit that and they will then verify that you are indeed at the address of this listing and put you through the verification process. So once you've turned the toggle off, make sure to click save and you will no longer have a listing showing the PIN or the exterior of that location. However, every business should include their service area. You can have up to 20 different service areas listed here. And so you can be specific. While this one has Rochester and then many individual towns, you can add zip codes, counties, and even the entire United States if you'd like. If you are nationwide, I highly suggest adding specific major cities as your service area. So then when someone searches in those areas, you're able to be found as if you're a local business. If you just put United States, it's too vague. No one just searches for something US. So that is a tip to make sure that you fill this out as much as you can. Every single bit of information is valuable to Google. Make sure your business hours are accurate and any special hours, which means if there's a special holiday or a day you're going to be closed, or even if the hours are going to be slightly different than you normally do, add them in and keep them updated. Especially if you have customers coming to your location. That is really important to keep a good experience for your users. Then you have a bunch of different options of what additional info you can share about the business. If there's any specific identified owned or accessible details for anyone that may arrive at the location. So there are plenty of things that could apply to you. Go through every single pencil and open it up to see what may apply to you. All right. Now you will see at the bottom, review and edit your business information to improve your presence on Google. Scroll down to confirm. This you want to make sure that is there are no suggested edits, and Google will highlight it with this little important explanation point. So if there are no changes, you can press confirm. You do want to keep an eye on this to make sure that if Google does suggest an edit, if it's incorrect, it doesn't go through. Now, additionally, I want to share that you can upload photos. When you do upload photos, it needs to be of your actual business. Using stock photos doesn't really work on these listings, and you want to make sure you have your logo as well. When uploading photos, there is a quick tip I want to make sure you know. And when you upload them, you're going to do this on your desktop. So when you have your image on whatever folder or just on your desktop, you can actually rename it to be a keyword dash your business name, exactly as you have it on your profile, before you drag it over here. Renaming the photo gives Google more context because they do not see the image, they only see what it's named. So this is an extra level of including keywords into this listing very easily. If you can, upload new photos once a month or once a quarter to keep new fresh content. Google loves more profile details. If it's photos, posts, reviews, whatever, they just want more of it. So be sure to rename the photo before you even upload it. You cannot do it once it's there. You'll also notice that your audience and users can upload photos to either reviews or the profile. And in that case, you are not able to delete or remove any of those. They are only able to be deleted by the user that uploaded them originally. The next thing is adding in your services. This is really huge and allows you to expand the number of keywords that Google will associate with your business. So you have your category, and you'll be able to add specific services under each of the categories. And this is a great thing because you can see how many are listed here. You actually get to decide what the custom service is. So Google will prompt you and offer some ideas, but you will be allowed to type in exactly your author name. And so this is where you can actually use your keyword list as a reference to add in as individual services. This is the best way to expand what Google knows about you and what you can rank for. The next is edit products. So for this, you will need a photo, and expanding this may take a little bit more content than just the list of services. You can add a product, use the name, try and include a keyword if possible. You only have less than 60 characters. Upload a photo that has been renamed with that keyword or specific product name and your business name exactly as it is on your profile. Select a category if it is, individual categories that you have listed on the profile, or however you want to organize this. You can do it however you'd like. Add in a price, but this is optional. Do not need to include it. And then you have 1,000 characters of a product description. This can be content that you already have on your website that describes what this product includes, the benefits, the value, everything, as well as including a landing page for that product. So this is a lot of rich information that Google can get about each of your products. And by having a photo, it will actually showcase on your listing as more photos so that people can be captured or engaged by the image and then see what the product is about. You can see them listed here. Now let's talk about reviews. Getting reviews and having a positive star rating is really important, and I highly recommend making this part of your system to ask every customer you can, and especially waiting until they say, this was great. I enjoyed this experience of working with you. I'll call you again. That's a great in to ask, would you mind writing us a review on Google? I can send you the link via text. Most times via text is going to be easier for them to take action right away. You can also try and do this in many different phases of your process. So after the job is completed, you can ask via text to make sure that they're happy and then request the review. You can send the invoice and include the link or the QR code to write a review. You can then even follow up with an email a couple days later. Hey, we really appreciated your business. If you don't have if you don't mind, please write a review on Google. Here's the link. Now, you want to make it as easy as possible for these people to follow through. We don't want to have them jumping through any hoops they don't need to, because already asking for this may seem a lot for them. So what we want is, one, everyone must have a Google account or Gmail in order to write the review. If you have a customer's email address and you know it's not Gmail, ask them to write it on Facebook or have them just respond to your email with what they thought. You can then put that information on your website if you'd like. The next is you can get a link from your Google business profile to send them directly. This, as soon as they click on it, they sign into Gmail and they are brought to the screen to choose the number of star rating and write their review. This is supposed to be a very easy and light request for them to complete. We do not want to hound them. We don't want to even pressurize them or give incentives. Google will know, and they will end up damaging your ranking and your credibility with Google. So making sure that you have a simple text ready to go after the job is completed, usually right after they're happy, is going to be the best strategy. Now, there are always the option of bad reviews or negative reviews happening to your business. One, you're going to need to still accept that they may happen from real customers that had a bad experience with you. You want to respond to both positive and negative reviews regardless. Showing you responding is allowing your future customers or even existing customers to know that you are there to make sure you do anything possible to ensure they have a good experience. Even when they have a bad experience, you want to try and rectify it and improve it in some way. Now, with this response to negative reviews, do not get emotional. Maybe step back, wait, have someone else respond. We want to just offer, we are very sorry about your experience. We do not want our business to have that type of outcome. If you could, please contact us at this phone number and we will do our best to rectify the situation. By doing that and taking it offline allows that there's not a bickering match going back and forth, because that can definitely damage your brand. It may be satisfying in the moment to say, well, you're not even a customer. What do you know? If they're not a customer, you can actually just report the review and Google will eventually take it down, and I'll show you how to do that. But we want to make sure that you are responding in a way that future customers appreciate. So being direct and saying, we're very sorry, even if you don't know what the situation really is, or you haven't had time to look into it, still give the empathy that everyone is looking for, especially when they write a review. They just want to be heard. So making sure that you are just there to respond nicely and not get aggressive will help your business in the long run. Now, a couple of things about negative reviews. How long does it take to get them to go away? Well, if you only have 5 to 10 reviews and you have 1 to 2 negatives, they're going to be pretty prominent. They're going to be seen by almost anyone that goes to your listing. Now, if you have 50 to 100 reviews and 1 or 2 of them are bad and 1 star, they may not be found. But the best thing you can do is respond, hope they reach out to handle the situation, and go on asking for more reviews. The easiest thing is to pile more positive reviews on top of that negative so that it's not seen. So how do we invite someone to ask for a review? Number 1, you're going to go to your listing and we're going to go to ask for reviews. This will pop up a custom link that will take us right to the screen to sign into Google. And if we're already signed in, right to the screen to click our stars and write our description. And you can also print out this QR code, again, leading you to the same exact place. When you do get new reviews, you can go to this read reviews section and it will show you all of them that have been replied or unreplied to. And this is in the most recent. So you can see that this is already responded to, but you can come in and edit this. And I highly recommend customizing the response to what they wrote and making sure that you include at least 1 keyword in the response. For a quick drawing attention that Google does highlight and bold specific keywords within the whole profile, in the description, in your reviews, showing you that whatever you search, the keyword searched, is related to this listing in this way. So making sure that you respond and are customizing the response to a specific keyword is going to help Google understand more. Now, if this review is a negative or it's not related and we need to try and remove it, we're going to click on this little icon And we have several options to select why we are trying to report this. The first is, maybe this person isn't a real person and this is a fake bot review. We can do that. You can also submit a request to report it multiple times. So if you try and report it by spam and you send the report, a couple days later, the review's still there, you can come back and, all right, well, they actually weren't with my business, so I'm going to try this off-topic selection of the violation and then try again. You can continue to attempt and eventually will. Now, if you try all of these and it's been months, the review is not coming down. Google does act pretty quickly if this is relevant to what you're reporting. So definitely take advantage of keeping an eye on this profile because of your reviews and because of all the other optimizations that you could do on a regular basis. So I want to touch on really quickly before we move on is notifications. You can turn on your notifications to be sent to you about whatever is important to this profile so that you get notified and can take action without having to check the profile all the time. Now, you still should come in once a month or every quarter to make sure that if there are any Google suggestions or changes to your content or business profile information, that you catch it and you keep it accurate. But this is the best way to update what you get notified about in this profile. Now we're going to talk about websites and Google Analytics. So this is really important for us to have a better idea of what your website should have and how to track what's actually happening once you have your website up. So if you don't have a website, Google Business is step number one. Make sure that that is fully optimized. And when you're ready to move into the next phase of developing a website, you should have several things on your to-do list to make sure to include in a good website. One is a homepage that includes all the things that people should know about you, who you are, why you're different, the services you offer, and they all link to the different pages you have on your site. Then you should have your about page. This should give the backstory, all the details of how you got started, what your expertise. You can host your testimonials here if you only have a few and continue to build that out to really tell your story. Then you'll have your services page. You should have a service page and then sub pages for each individual service you offer. The reason to have this many broken down sub pages is to allow you to have more visibility for specific keywords related to each of those pages. Making sure that you have a fully optimized website that gives Google all the information as well as your users to make the decision to choose you is really important. And I always tell people we create our website for Google first and our customers second. And that may sound backwards because we want our customers to like it. But if Google hasn't been able to find your site or understand your site, your customers will never even know it exists. So we need to please Google and make sure that we follow their rules so that we can be found by the customers that we're trying to attract. And then Google Analytics is a free tool, another one that Google offers to put on the back end of your website to track all the activity of those users that get to your website. Where they come from, what they're doing, what they like, what they don't like, really understanding what improvements you can make to your website before you even consider doing advertisement, what is working, what is not. Making sure to clean that up first before spending money is going to be a crucial way to save that money. So here are the main points of what Google Analytics can tell you about your website. One, are they finding you? Where are they coming from? Really giving you a better idea of the marketing strategy that you have in place. Is it working or is it tanking? Really to show you and shine a light on what's important and should be prioritized to improve the growth of your business. Are they staying? If people are staying for less than 30 seconds, they may not be engaged enough to be convinced, to trust you, to actually convert into a lead and contact you in some way. And are they converting? And you've heard me say this sometimes, conversion. A conversion is any action on your website that gets you interacting with that person. They could subscribe to your blog or an e-newsletter. They could even send a contact form with a question, very specifically. I need to know, do you offer this? Then you can go into a deeper conversion, which really shows that they're interested. They can book a call. They could make a purchase if you sell products. So there's a lot of different ways that you can track a conversion to know what level of interest they're in and how close they are to becoming a customer. Of course, a phone call is a great conversion, but it's hard to track because they may have already been a customer and they're just getting your phone number, or are they a new user calling you for the first time? So making sure that you ask when people call you, how did you hear about us? That will give a lot of clarity. If you don't have the analytics set up yet, that will give you clarity on where people are coming from. And that is the next one. What is very important for any marketing strategy is what is working, where are they coming from? Tell me where to put my effort, because if they are coming organically, that means that Google understands your business and you're getting plenty of people finding you through direct searches. If it's direct, they already know your business name. They're already aware of your domain. They may have been here already. They are more of a possible repeat customer audience. And then paid is obviously Google ads, or you can have social ads. And then referrals means that they came from another website that your link is hosted on, and there's some kind of connection or backlink to give them traffic from there to you. And lastly, knowing what device someone is on will help you understand the full scope of your website performance. If people are on mobile and they don't stay very long, that means that the experience may not be as good as it is for desktop users. So making sure that your website loads quickly and is easy to navigate on mobile will help you better understand where your audience is, what they like the most, and which one actually brings the most leads. And if you find that mobile is converting at a higher percentage, but they're not as engaged, that really tells you that your audience loves to be on mobile for your business, and you need to improve the mobile site so that you can convert even more people. Now, I want to show you an example of a really good website that breaks down individually what is the best structure of a website. Number one, we're on the home page and you have this hero shot, which is a simple, very easy to understand what they do. And that's ideal. Within 3 to 7 seconds is how long you have to capture someone's attention and explain what you do. And sometimes that may not be easy to do in words. So using video or photo to illustrate exactly the type of environment and experience someone may have by using your business is huge, especially in the homepage. So you have your about and some other additional, main high-level pages, but then we have this series of very detailed, broken down service pages. Each of these pages has details about the service and focuses on the keyword of that service. So with this many subpages, you actually have more keyword opportunities to show up in Google. So this is highly recommended, and it may be difficult when you're first starting out and you don't have a lot of content or written content to get out about your business. You want to make sure each of these pages has around 1,000 words. So that may be a lot to write about for all these different services. But ideally, you may be able to rank for this individual page specifically for abatement, asbestos abatement or asbestos removal better than your homepage could. So you want to make sure you really break this down specifically so that Google can rank individual pages as clearly as possible based on the keyword search. Now, to set up Google Analytics on your website, you will need to take a piece of code and put it on the back end. I don't want to waste too much time on this video to talk about implementing it. If you have questions, you're not sure how to implement it, feel free to reach out and I can give you a quick video tutorial on the next steps. But if you have set it up and you have data collecting, you'll be able to look through this report much easier to get what you're at least the answers to your questions. We're going to go over to reports, and under this first tab, traffic acquisition. Now, next we want to break down our source differently than how it automatically pops up. We are going to click this drop down right here and go source medium. Now we have a breakdown, and I want to give you a little understanding of what each of these are, but we have our sessions and total number of times the website has been viewed, and you can hover over any of these to get a deeper explanation or description of each. But we're looking at our sessions, total number of times the website was viewed, and then our engagement rate. How engaged is someone? If they are not making it to a second page, they may not be as engaged. The lower the engagement rate, the worse. We want to have around 50% or higher. And then we can also find where people are not engaged and what we can do to improve that from that source. The next is the average time someone is on the website. This is really important to look at because it'll show you how engaged someone is. If on a later point, if it's a specific page that has a low time on page, then you really will learn, I need to add more here. What can I do to engage the user for a longer time period? And then key events is also known as conversions. So we can set up specific conversions to track the actions that matter to us, aka they subscribed, they filled out a contact form, they booked an appointment, they made a purchase. Any of those things are going to be valuable for us to know exactly how many of those happened, from what source they came from, as well as the conversion rate. And so I will show really quickly how to set that up in a moment. But the Google CPC, cost per click, is Google Ads. Google Organic is what we're most familiar with on Google search. We see this underneath the Google Maps, and these clicks are free. This is going to be one of the most engaged sources of traffic, as you can see, over a minute for these people. Direct means that they typed in the .com and they already knew you. And Google GMB is Google My Business or Google Business Profile. You also find that organic can come from Bing or Yahoo. You also have a couple of ChatGPT referrals. So other sites that have sent traffic to this website, what are they doing? Again, I think I mentioned not a lot of people may come from AI, but those that do, they've been educated before getting there. So that is a good thing, that your business is becoming a resource after someone has been their questions have been answered by AI to the fullest extent of what they can, and they move into your business website for more professional help. Now I want to show you the landing pages. This will show us each individual page of your website and how they perform. So first, the slash is just your homepage. So this is the one that doesn't have anything extra after the domain, and obviously will have most of your traffic. Contact, and then individual plumbing services will be listed. And if you do have any service area pages, those will show as well. So it really gives you the best idea of how many people are going there, what their engagement time, and any conversions that may be happening on those pages. So a lot of the clearing of what is working, this will tell you exactly what is working. If it's not working, where do you need to start improving? If it's on the page, if it's SEO, if it's, maybe we just need to start fresh and maybe create a video for the page, whatever other ideas to expand the information that your customers actually want on your website. Again, including keywords wherever you are creating content. Now, the last thing I want to share with you is the mobile versus desktop breakdown. And we're going to go under tech details. And then we're going to change the browser to device category. Now, this is a great place to understand what device your audience is typically using on your website to then cater to their experience. So what we can see is there's a lot more mobile, but they're not staying as long as desktop. However, we do see that the conversions are about 50-50. So mobile is still converting at a healthy amount, and that could be because people are going there and they're looking for the phone number and they call, and that's what they needed. So really, to break this down and better understand what your audience wants, and then of course what you want is the conversion to make sure that we are getting to the end goal of becoming a customer. Next, I want to talk about keywords and SEO. This is a loaded topic because SEO is clouded in confusion and unknown and just all this stuff that we will never understand. It's not the case. We are going to go through it very simply to make sure that you understand each of the components, how they work together. And once it is set up properly, you just need to do some things continuously going forward, and the website will grow and blossom and be able to perform and give you data and results that you wouldn't be able to get other ways. So this is so important. So we're going to talk about keywords first. And there's a few different types of categories that are important to think about your keywords before you really start implementing them. So keywords, of course, are what people search into Google when they're looking for something. So there's a few different categories I want to start with. One is the industry keywords. Industry keywords are going to be us as business owners. How do we speak as experts and professionals in this industry? You've already heard me say keywords, SEO, conversions. I use a high level of language or keywords in how I explain my business. It's necessary because this is how things are explained in Google. So you may find that your industry keywords may not actually relate to being keywords for you because they're too technical. And so if they are too high level, they may not actually bring you traffic. And if they do, they may just be your competitors searching to see what you're doing because they speak that same language. You want to really think, these are some. This is going to get me started, but they may not be the richest area for you to actually use. The next type of keyword is your customer keyword. And this is easy to find because you already have customers. You can simply ask them, hey, what'd you search? Or how would you describe my business? And getting their perspective is going to give you so many ideas for keywords because they have a simplified way of explaining what they know your business to be. And you can also do this by asking whoever answers the phone or whoever is doing the sales, what is the language that people are saying? Do you offer this? Or can I get this? Those terms and language from them directly are going to be the best keywords that you end up finding. And I'll show you really quickly how to do some keyword research that's free and actually helps you find a lot of keywords. The next type is question keywords. So most people are using Google and have been to ask questions. They will type in a full question. How do I whatever? So you may find that the whatever part is a main keyword, but the question and the long tail, so more than 3 words, may become something that you need to include on your website. Questions are how most people are generating the search results within Google, but they're also using AI to ask questions. So if you want to be found in either spot and all sourcing from your website, you need to ask the question on your site and answer it specifically and in as much detail as possible. Making sure that you have that content available for AI to source, for Google to source, will give you a lot of credibility in being the expert and authoritative in your industry. Making sure that you have all of this kind of full circle answering questions, including your keywords, will help Google and your customers understand what you do. The next is outside the box keywords. Now you have your regular keywords, you know, your customer knows what they need, they're searching for that. And let's just talk water heater installation. Now, what do people outside of that may not need a water heater right now be touching your industry? And for example, you could be this could be a referral partnership. This could be a remarketing. If anyone visits their website, I want my ad to follow them around. There's a lot of ways that you can use these outside industries that just barely touch what you do and may be needed before they need your services. So for an example, if someone's looking for a water heater installation, right before that, they may be buying a new home. They could be selling a new home and it's required by a home inspection. There's a lot of ways that you could find referral partners or potential audience buckets that you can then find before they even know they need you, but you've branded yourself to being the expert, showing yourself in their area. You may get them before they know they need you, or as soon as they do need you, they know who to call. So that is a huge source of extra keywords that I definitely recommend in adding to your SEO strategy. The last one is misspelled keywords. So these are harder to implement into the strategy because we don't want misspelled words on your website. We want to hide them in different ways so that you can still be seen for them, but not actually misrepresenting that you know how to spell. So for example, let's say plumber with 2 M's, no B, is a misspelled keyword that some people will spell it that way. Either they know it's spelled wrong and they just leave it, or they may not know it's spelled wrong and they still do the search. Google still knows what they're talking about. They understand misspellings happen. They may even offer the "did you mean" to re-enter their search correctly. Some people just ignore that and continue the search with the misspelling. This is important because a lot of people do not include misspelled words in their strategy, so they have a lot of potential with low competition. So you could really start ranking well for a misspelled keyword if you sneak it into your strategy, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Now, the best way to do market research or keyword research is to go to Google. We want to know what keyword is searched most often, so Google gives us that information for free on Google search. So we're going to start by going to the search bar and we're going to start typing in anything. So we can do plumbing services, and you don't press enter, you'll see all of these drop downs of other ideas for keywords. Now, these are not just shown randomly. These are shown based on the most popular searches done on Google, and so that they're relevant to either things that you've searched in the past or what most people are searching. So if you start and you have one or two keywords that you've thought of so far, come here, put them into search, and start writing down all of the additional keywords that are listed and expand your list. Then continue. All right, I'm going to change it slightly to this. I'm going to include a location. See what other ideas are prompted in this drop down. Now, additionally, and if I complete the search and I scroll down a bit, we have this section called People Also Ask. So I mentioned there's a category of keywords. We care about what questions people ask Google, and we can find some examples right here. And as we click down, your website could be the source of the answer to this question if you go through and add an FAQ page to your website, or blog posts specifically mention these questions and a detailed answer. So this is really a key place that I've found to be very rich with positive websites to give the solution. As you click down, you'll see that more questions are popping up. So you can continue to change your keyword, come down and see what other keyword questions you can write about, what pertains to you, what is a good idea to expand, and really go down the rabbit hole of keywords just by using Google. And this is a great place to get you started because keywords are the essential foundation to an SEO strategy. I want to talk about SEO really quickly and give you the high level understanding of what it is. SEO, search engine optimization, is the easiest way to say how Google understands your website and your business, making sure that the content, page tags, and all of the information that Google can see on your site is clear and easy for them to understand what keywords you want to be ranking for. So we will be sprinkling keywords in on all of these different places. The first is our title tag. You may have heard this term, but it's actually shown on Google search. So every page of your website has a separate title tag, and it's actually this blue link that will lead you to the website. And you can customize this. If you just had a website built, you may notice that you'll find your website and it just says home or about or contact. Those are the names of the pages in the navigation or in your menu, but it does not convert into SEO title tags. And if you don't update this, then your page may not have as good of a ranking because Google doesn't understand home as a keyword related to a business that may not be a realtor or home builder. So you want to customize this with your keywords by having your keyword dash your business name. Now, the business name needs to be exactly the same as you have on your Google business profile. Making sure that that consistency is there is the first thing you need to be worrying about for your SEO. So your keyword dash your business name. Now, if you're local and you want to rank specifically for a certain city, town, or area, you want to include your location in the tag. One example is that they've added of Rochester listed here. Another option would be to add another dash and put the location between the two dashes in the middle. This will allow you to specifically be located in that area. So when someone searches plumbing Rochester, you come up. And if you don't want to include the location because you service the whole United States, you just don't add a location at all. You just do your keyword dash your business name. So this is, again, your title tag. Every single page needs a unique title tag. The keywords cannot be duplicated. They will actually slow down the progress of being ranked for that page. Each page should have its own specific keyword. Next is the little paragraph under. This is called a meta description. This is what you need to do to engage someone to choose your website over all of the other options. You want to include your keyword in this description, but also be captivating and get the engagement of the user so that you actually get the click. Now, you may find that you have no tag set up and you're being seen, but you're not getting clicks. That's because Google doesn't fully understand you and you may not be ranking higher, or the user doesn't understand you and doesn't think that this is worth clicking on. So making sure that you are thoughtful when you write these tags is really important. It needs to be done once and not updated too often unless you want to reorganize the keywords that you're prioritizing. So if you find, oh, this keyword's doing better, you can go back to a tag, update it with that new keyword, make the adjustments on the meta description, the title tag, and the page to ensure that it reflects that new keyword. But you won't need to do this a lot of times. Only new pages need to ensure that they have all of these aspects as well. Lastly is the slug. So for example, this is after the .com, and then you have your slash, and then whatever the name of your page is usually there. You can customize this, and sometimes if an owner builds their own website, it might be services 1, services 2, services 3. Customizing that with a keyword will actually help Google connect the dots of that focus keyword for that page being seen in the title tag, the meta description, the URL, and on the page. Now, what do we need on the page? Now, there are a few things I want you to know about on-page content. Number 1 is you already have decided what your focus keyword is in your title tag and your meta description that shows on Google. But now you need to make sure you include that focus keyword in the content of the page. I mentioned that you want to have around 1,000 words per page, but the keyword density should be 1%. And so that equals about 10 times in 1,000 words. Making sure that you have enough content to convince and share what you do is important, but including keywords within that content is going to help the page be understood more by Google. Next, we talked about the renaming of the photo on Google Business. You also want to do that on your website. You may rename it before, or most websites allow you to change the alt tag or the name of the image on the back end. You want to include your keyword dash your business name exactly in those places. Now, the alt tag or the name of the image can only be seen by Google, and Google actually can't see the image. So they don't know what it is. They only know what it's named. So this is the opportunity to include your misspelled keywords as alt tags as the image name on your site. And having authentic, real photos of your business is going to help your branding and actual trust building with your users a lot easier. Now, a few things to make clear about SEO. It needs to be all of the patience that you have. It is not going to be a quick process. Deciding what your keywords need to be intentional. Writing your tags needs to be intentional. You need to actually commit that this is a forever strategy, as I like to call it. We're never going to not be worrying about SEO because it's a foundational type of strategy that can actually build your website to grow without you having to do much to drive that force once you've been going. So SEO takes a minimum of 6 to 12 months before you actually see the results, meaning more customers saying that they're coming from Google. So this is going to be something you may get frustrated in the first 6 months because you're like, nothing's working. Stick with it because you will start to see compounding results over a longer period of time. Next, blog posts are actually the factor of ongoing SEO. So once you've updated every page of your website, all of them have title tags and meta descriptions, the slugs are customized, you have photos that have been renamed, your keywords are sprinkled in the content, everything's great. What you can do is now create one blog post a month on an ongoing basis forever that answers specific questions, talk on the specific keywords you have not touched on your website yet, and make sure that you actually give a lot of helpful detail in those blogs. Now, you might be thinking, I don't want to write that. you can hire a copywriter, or you can strategically use AI to help you get started. My warning with using AI to write content is they are pulling content from other places. You need to give it all of the information that you have so that it is accurate and represents your expertise and knowledge of this topic. Making sure that you're giving Google all of what you know so that it can create something a little more original and unique. Google does not want duplicated content out there. You do not want to take a blog post from someone else's website and try and repurpose it as your own. It will definitely damage your reputation with Google. So making sure that you're writing original, unique content that is helpful to your audience is going to help you actually tenfold grow this strategy over time. Now, each new blog post needs to have a specific and unique keyword. It can't have already been used, but you can approach it in a different way, reword the keyword in the title, and still have the focus be the same. And SEO is definitely going to be ongoing too. Don't lose steam. Consistency is the most important. If you start writing a blog post once a month and then you stop when you start seeing customers and then you come back, and Google is not going to be sure if you're still in business. The inconsistency actually is alarming to them. So really try and plan out your strategy of writing blog posts in bulk, scheduling them, planning for the entire year. That allows you to have the consistency, know it's being done, know that it won't go off the rails, and Google will continue to trust your business. Some other ways that you can improve your SEO besides writing a blog post is more reviews. The number of reviews and the star rating is going to be huge for how you rank locally and the association between your Google business and your website. So have several little goals. If you're just getting started and you have no reviews, all right, I'm going to ask every customer I see for the next week, and then we're going to get 5. Then we can get 50. Then we can go to 100. I also suggest checking out what your competitors have as their total number of reviews and set that as your ultimate goal. Trying to get in the same realm of how many they have allows you to compete on Google Maps and Google Search a lot easier. And as I've mentioned a few times, the service pages, they allow you to have individual pages to rank for specific keywords each. So breaking down each of your services will actually help your SEO strategy perform better, because if someone is searching for a water heater and they land on something that's not, maybe a boiler or a faucet replace, they may not stay to look for more. They want the information that they were searching for. So the more specific you are on each page to a specific keyword, the better the result of their engagement and possible conversion is possible. NAP consistency is very important because Google does not trust misinformation. So if you have your name, your address, and your phone number on Google Business, and then Google finds another site that has your business info but slightly different, they're going to then start losing trust in you of, well, which one is correct? Which one should we be using? Google's goal is to make sure that the user gets the most accurate and helpful information possible. So that's why they check other places. Now, if their information is so different, but they're an older listing, they may actually make the change on your listing to whatever the other directory had. So making sure that you keep an eye on your Google business, and 2, do a search for your business name, then your address and your phone number to see what comes up in Google search. That gives you the easiest place to start with cleaning up any inconsistencies in those 3 aspects. And I've mentioned a couple times is you want to be so consistent that your business name, if you include LLC and you don't have a comma in one place, you do in another, or you don't have LLC at all in another place, Google is going to be so confused and they won't know what to trust. So decide on a format and use it everywhere, including your website. Nowadays, the speed of your website is going to be a big factor on keeping people on your site, as well as Google gauging how long it takes to load. If there is a low, I would say a goal of 3 to 5 seconds for a load speed, anything higher than that, you may have some plugins you need to remove, or compressing images, or anything to make it run a little bit faster. I know that you could lose users because it's not loading fast enough. They may leave and go to another option that they have. And the hardest thing to accept is the more time in the game, the better for your SEO strategy. The longer your website's been out there, your business is building credibility, the better your performance grows. The more Google trusts you, the more they will rank you and show you for different searches. All right, this last topic, discussing advertising on Google, is it a good fit for your business? And maybe if it is it the right time for your business? There's a lot of different things to consider before you give Google money, because all of the tools we've talked about today have been free. So Google Ads and local services ads are the only ones that you need to actually pay Google for the clicks or the leads. So let's talk about exactly what's included, what we need to do right before we talk about how much it's going to cost. All right. So first, the expected click-through rate. Does Google think that anyone is going to click on my ad? And the click-through rate is actually the percentage of number of times you were seen to how many times you got clicked. If we don't get clicked, we are not being charged, but we aren't getting the traffic to our website. So we really do need to make sure that our ad is captivating enough to get the person to click. The ad relevancy. So is your ad actually related to the keyword that was triggered? So whatever the user searched, are you talking about that specific keyword or that service? Breaking down that you understand what they're looking for and that is what you offer is going to be really important. If you have a generic ad that's targeting all of your keywords, you might find that your ad rank is not up to being on position 1. Next, your landing page experience. So making sure that when people do get to your ad, you make the most of it, let alone all the Google Analytic data, how long they stayed, if they were engaged, if they converted. All of that does matter because Google Ads and Google Analytics actually work together and the data can go through both accounts to help you get better performance. But really, if you're going to be paying for that click, you want to make sure you give them exactly what they need on your landing page. If someone searches for water heater and they land on the faucet replacement page, they may not stay and you just wasted a few bucks. So making sure that you really do have an organized fashion of the keywords, the ads, and your landing pages to be relevant for the user to get the most out of what they're looking for so that you can maximize your return on investment. So a few ways that people actually waste money in Google Ads are the match types. So Google will actually promote for you to use broad match, and that just means there's no format on the word. And if we were to use plumber as a keyword, anything that someone searches that has plumber in there, related or not, can trigger your ad. So if someone searches starting a plumber career, definitely not a person that a plumber is looking for. They're looking for customers that are looking to hire a plumber. That would be too irrelevant. And we may waste dollars on clicks of people we know we would never service if we knew their keyword. Then we go to phrase match, which has quotations around the outside. This allows for your keyword to be somewhere in the search. Again, pretty broad because there could be words before or after that keyword. Now, this allows you to maybe show up for plumber Rochester, plumber near me, and expand that way, but you really need to be careful on what other keywords are allowed. The last one is exact, and this has brackets around it, and this means only this keyword is in the search. Nothing else before or after. If they search plumber, I want to show up. That is exactly the right way to start targeting and being more refined as you get closer to the ideal customer. Broad match will get you people that don't actually want to hire you, but will cost you money. So if you're doing your own Google Ads and you go into your list of keywords and they're all set to broad match, please pause the campaign now and book a call with me so we can talk about more details of better targeting strategy and making sure that you actually make the most of the ad spend that you are using. The next way to actually refine any of those phrase match, so the keywords that allow before and after terms to still trigger your ads, is negative keywords. So if you found plumber career, free plumber, any of those different types of variations of the keyword that don't quite match up to what you're looking for, you can add as negative keywords. If a user searches any of your negative keywords, your ads do not show up and they move on. They select something different. This can be the best tool to limiting any of the waste spend. Next, sending people to your homepage. Sending people to your homepage and expecting them to find what they're looking for when they search for something specific may actually eliminate them from being as engaged because they wanted to hand it to them on a golden platter. They want to make it easy, especially because you're paying for this user. You want them to be as close to the bottom of the funnel as possible, eliminating any obstacles of them getting lost on your site or not finding what they need. So making sure that your landing pages, if that's with a menu or without, to give them what they need on one page. We may find that there is a less time spent on the site for Google Ads, but that's because we don't expect them to be searching for what they need. They should land exactly where they need. The next is no call tracking. This is essential. If you are targeting and trying to generate phone calls from Google Ads and you don't have call tracking on, you're missing so much information. One, Google will route it through a forwarding number and allow you to know the time, the length of the call, and the phone number in which they called. You can also turn on recording so that you can go back and listen to the call to see what actually was said and how it ended. And you'll see the keyword that triggered it. All of this information will give you a better idea of how to restrict your ads and refine them so that you're targeting the right people that result in the right customers. If we find that this specific keyword generated 5 calls that were all 3 seconds or less, we need to take a look at that keyword and backtrack to, is this still relevant for our ads? Or do we need to change the strategy around this concept? The last thing is letting Google optimize. There are a lot of suggestions from Google, but from a Google expert, do not trust everything that Google suggests to you because most of their goals are around making more money. So they may be too broad, and that's the broad match, or the smart campaigns where you're allowing Google to decide who sees this ad based on the information on your website. And so they may not have a full understanding of exactly what you want or who you want to target. Especially Google Ads, you can target specific industries or specific services that you want more of because of their profit margins. So being specific on your own allows you more control. Once you hand over that to Google, they may be changing your bidding strategy, opening up your match type so that your keywords are, getting more clicks. They may think that's good, but maybe those clicks are not turning into what you want. So it ends up being a waste. So all of these different things can actually waste your budget if you don't refine and use Google Ads as well as you can. Now, if you're ever considering using Google Ads, you need to have a really good website, analytics on there to see the performance and how things are working, if there's any red flags before you start advertising, and making sure you know your keywords. Having a very good start, you can obviously expand that list and Google will help you, but knowing what you want and who to target from this campaign will give you a much more specific strategy. When you don't want to be broad with Google Ads, you want to be specific to maximize the ad spend and, of course, get the return you're looking for. So how much? How much should we be spending? I want to give you an example, and then we'll go back to what the ranges can be for a business considering Google Ads. So for the industry of plumbing, we can have an average cost per click to $5. So every click that this campaign will get, it's going to cost us $5 each time. If their website converts at 5%, which is a moderate, very healthy, well-performing website, you want 10 leads per month. This is just a goal that we're going to use for this example. Obviously, you can scale up and down based on the results of this formula. So that means the ads will need to generate 200 clicks to reach this 10 lead goal. If we do that, $5 a click, 200 clicks, that's about $1,000 a month. Now, Google Ads actually breaks down their budget to a daily budget, which ends up being $33 a day. So now we want to know, how much is this going to return? That actually matters to how much am I willing to invest. So on a range, a new customer can be between $150 and $1,000 for, depending on the project. And if this company has a 40% close rate, those 10 leads turn into 4 new customers. 4 customers at an average of $500 per job ends up being $2,000 in revenue. They spent $1,000, they returned $2,000. So this was positive, but how do I get more? How do I refine this? Your website, making sure that the keywords, the ads, and your landing page all perform as well as they can to making sure that you can maximize this budget to its fullest. Anytime you get somebody to your website, you know the website's going to do its job and give the user the information they need to become a lead. Now, if you have a website that you haven't been able to track, you have no idea what the performance is, it has never brought you a lead, do not use Google Ads. Focus on improving your website, the overall structure, the SEO, the keywords, as well as the user experience. Is it match your brand? Does it explain and build trust? There's so much to really understand if the website represents your business well before you even consider spending money with Google Ads. So what's it really look like? What kind of levels are we talking about if you're considering spending Google Ads? If you're really just like, I want to see if it works, I'm interested, I have a decent website, I'm ready to dive in, $500 to $800 a month is going to be a good start. That's around $20 to $25 per day. And so really trying to find out what your estimated cost per click is in your industry will help you determine how many clicks you can actually get from this budget. So if you're ever interested, send me some of your keywords and I'll let you know how much their average cost per click is, and that will help us with this formula. Next, if you're ready to dive in, like seriously, and think that you can actually get a return from this, the better budget for someone committing to Google Ads is $1,000 to $2,000 a month. I do recommend a 3-month minimum to ensure that you have enough time to test the system and understand if the algorithm is going to work enough to give you a positive return. If in 3 months you found that you did not get enough closed leads that came from these campaigns, then turning it off is the recommendation. Then if you're ready to take this so seriously, you're just, let's dive in. I want to take it all the way to the end. SEO is in good place. My website is in good place. This is something I want to take seriously and be at the top. $2,500 a month is going to be the ideal for businesses that are almost going from small to medium or medium to large. They want to level up on the exposure they can get. Google Ads is definitely recommended for a lot of the home service businesses. So if your industry is not going to Google, and that could be you need a different platform to advertise on, we can still talk about what that would be. I do not do advertising on any other platform besides Google. I'm just a Google expert. Any other type of digital marketing I can provide a referral to if you're interested. All right. So from all the things that we talked about, I want to just hit you with a few takeaway moments that you should be focusing on over the next few months. This week, the priority is Google Business Profile, making sure that every single piece of your edit profile details is filled in. Every box has something. You've looked and understood if it applies to your business. You can also sneak in, how do I ask for reviews over the next couple of weeks? Do I have any clients or customers in the last couple of weeks that have been happy, or friends? Start by asking people and making it more of a comfortable request and a part of your process. Making sure that it's seamless and easy for the user is going to help you start getting more traction from this listing. Again, check this profile once a month to once a quarter to make sure that everything is still aligned. This month, take a deep dive into your website. What are each page that you have? What are the title tags and meta description currently set up as? What would be the best keyword on each of these pages? And how often do you mention your keywords in the content? Check some speed, really use it as if you were a customer on your phone and your desktop. Dive in to see what you have in front of you. If you have analytics, take a look at the performance. How well are things doing? Is there any red flags that you think you should prioritize on the website, or is it doing well? If it is doing well, start on the next task, which is SEO. Making sure your tags are cleanly written with your keyword and your business name, your meta description that's engaging and includes the keyword, update your slug if needed, the end of your URL, and any of your images. Make sure that they're renamed or have an alt tag that can help you start getting those keywords included. There are many different aspects in which you can continue to do so once you've set the foundation of SEO, starting to write blog posts. We can certainly talk, and if you want to brainstorm any of those ideas and the keyword research, I'm happy to help. And then when you're ready, once you have such a good understanding of your website performance and your Google business is in line, then considering Google Ads, how much you'd be willing to spend, and of course, what the ultimate goal of the return and how many leads and what you need from this before you begin. So you will be able to sign up for a free Google presence if you're the audit. If you're interested, this allows you to get a custom report, a video to explain it, and a 30-minute meeting with me to ask questions and understand next steps. This is normally $450, so this is quite the deal. You'll be able to sign up with the link attached to this video. Now, if you have any questions, I always encourage them. Feel free to reach out to me. Visit my websites, KaeRaeMarketing.com or KaeRaeEducation.com, and you'll be able to find out more about me and how I can help you. You can certainly email me and ask me any questions at welcome@KaeRaeMarketing.com. And hopefully this was helpful and gives you a lot of guidance to improving your Google presence. Thanks.